Interesting tweet this morning. We'll end the program this morning with some are really funny, some are ridiculous, some are stupid, but overall an amazing tribute to Prince from yesterday. And just watching some of these quasi celebrities trying to get in and take advantage of the moment. I have some examples of that. It just burns me up when that happens. But Eric Clapton. And this I just retweeted out. Eric Clapton on how it felt to be the world's best guitarist. His answer, I don't know. You'll have to ask Prince. That was Eric Clapton. Pretty amazing right
Yesterday
there.
or?
This is in a previous interview. Here, listen to this. Listen to this on guitar. This is Tom Petty, Steve Winwood, Jeff Lynne, and many others performing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in a tribute to George Harrison. Now that is Prince on guitar. He's just unbelievable. And you know, his first 5 albums, he played every instrument on his first 5 albums. An amazing musician and very, very sad. On the line right now is Joe Marino. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Bill. How are you? Good morning, Christine and Andrew and Jeff. How are you guys?
Good morning.
So, listen, let's kind of switch over and talk about this Whitesboro Street apartment complex. You know, is it going to be this athletic complex, entertainment, and multi-story arenas and hockey rink that could be used year-round, or an apartment complex? Turns out the vote was to approve the apartment complex. You were one that voted against it. Why did you vote against it?
Yeah, I wasn't. I'll tell you, I mean, I deplore being someone that on the surface and is branded by an administration as being someone who's against development. You know, it's anything but the truth that I'm against development. I'm just for a vision and for the future of the city. And I think that, what we do is we short-sightedly just jump at the first chance we get. We've never been in a position in the city of Utica before, at least in my lifetime, and even the older generation's lifetimes that I've seen, that our land is valuable.
Yeah.
And we have a chance to do something right. And I liken it like this: imagine walking down a path and finding a $100 bill, and then someone telling you, "Look at how great you are! You found a $100 bill for us," and you walk home. Meanwhile, if you walk 3 steps further, you would have found $1 million. Now, I understand the public doesn't know that $1 million was ahead of us, but all of our elected officials did. And, I feel like we're dropping the ball on economic development here.
Manansky.
You talked about the vision. What do either of these projects fit into the master plan, or did they?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the administration, even publicly at a meeting, they came out and said that the master plan calls for housing in that area, on the Whitesboro Street area. I challenged them to say, where does the hospital fit into the master plan? And we all seem to support that, and I do support it. But, you can't cherry pick the master plan, because let me tell you, in 2008 when it was devised, and even 2011 when it was adopted, no one had any idea about the success of the comets, or even that the comets were coming. No one had any idea that Nano was here and breaking ground today. So, plans change, and that document I support as a living, breathing document as it was intended, not as, the letter of the law, and to be cherry-picked for when we need it and when we don't. We use it as a crutch when we need it, and we use it, or we ignore it when we feel it's convenient.
Now, we removed from over there, the low-income housing that was over there was removed, and now housing is going back there, and they're saying this is going to be more of a middle-class property. It will not be low-income housing. How do you, is that a guarantee? What happens if they don't get filled? And what do you do?
No, I'll tell you something. These two, we were presented, every elected official, in the area was presented 2 proposals. One was a vision, one was a project. The vision that we were presented by an entertainment group, and not the Art Authority, by the way. I know everybody's giving the Art Authority a hard time. They're trying to secure that land for the future vision of that entertainment group. But this is that, a group came to us and showed us every ounce of plans that they had, and we've seen them. And we knew that they needed every bit of land over there to make this thing at full build-out work the way that we all would like to see it as a tourist destination, as an entertainment district. So as we go forward, we see that, and then we're presented with the other plan with, the Purcell Group, which is a terrific company. And they tell us everything, that they have an idea for. But I challenge anyone, including the OD editorial board, to look at the actual facts. And, to say that the Audit Authority has not presented a plan in public is actually true. And the Purcell plan was a little bit more public. But when we asked Purcell for a market study to see if you can actually fill these units and for how much, we got nothing. We got nothing in terms of financing. I see no financing from the Purcell Group. Now, am I saying that they cannot fill them and they will not finance it? Of course not. But, I think it's a little bit insulting to say that the Audit Authority has this cockamamie pie-in-the-sky scheme when these people have done it before. They've succeeded before.
Let me ask you this. This seems to be, and yes, the OD editorial board came out and said that the Utica should accept this deal. I've spoken with a number of political figures. Everybody seems to be against this. Everybody's against these apartments going in there in terms of our county and our state elected officials. I'm struggling getting through this. I'm sorry.
But you're exactly right. And listen, I talked to them all myself, and we all have talked to them. There's only one administration that's actually for this project in its current form. I talked to the assemblyman, who was completely, entirely on board with the vision of an entertainment district. He understands the future of this city. I talked to the county executive. He completely understands the vision that we're going for here in the city. And, for a short-sighted sell and a headline, and look, I got a lot of respect for the OD editorial board. I just think that they've taken one administration's word and not done the research like we all have. And we all understood. Everyone understood that public perception would not be on the side of the sports and entertainment complex because it could not be so public just now. We're talking about 18 months of wait, not 5 years of wait.
Who is the entertainment group, and why is that private?
Yeah, look, that's not for me to say. And again, I don't even question Purcell in what they're doing with their financing. It's not for me to say who is, standoffish about how much money you're going to invest. When you're talking about $70 million, I've never been involved personally with that kind of money. So if you're saying to me that a guy who wants to pump $40 million into a region doesn't want to announce it yet because we may blow it and it may turn away, investors, then that's fine. With Purcell. I get it.
But you said that you just said to us a second ago that you received a presentation from this entertainment group. So
right.
And I can respect it if you say to me, I know who it is. I can't say it because we've been asked to keep that private. But tell me,
I know exactly who it is.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, and I can even tell you a few of them. I mean, everyone knew in public that the people like Frank DuRoss were involved. People like the auditorium administration are directly involved. I know exactly who it is, but there are a few people that didn't really. And even this, like I said, the administration was presented a private plan. And they went public with it right away, and they turned away one investor. Now, there's another giant investor that came right back on board. And again, these plans have all been divulged to the people that have to make the decisions. I don't expect, the people of the city, everyone around to say, look, these guys, they don't know what they're doing. I get that. I understand that. But we're the ones that are supposed to make this decision. And when the mayor comes out in the paper directly and says that developers are to make that decision and, not the mayor nor the council, I completely disagree with that. I completely disagree that developers are supposed to come in here and ransack our city and do anything that they want. There was no concessions from Purcell at all. They did not provide one iota of proof that they're going to fill these things. They just told us it's going to be 130 units for $10 million. I get on the surface how great that looks.
Yeah.
But,
is there a battle? Is there a battle brewing between the county, state officials, and the city? Is there all of a sudden? There seems to be, to me, two sides. Last year or 2 years ago, when we were talking about adding the Comets, it seemed to be everybody on board. When we talked about Nano, everybody on board. But this seems to be a real divide that's going on right now that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, well, look, there's a concerted effort to make everyone in this city have the feeling that we are moving in the right direction and all together. There's a very concerted effort on all of our parts to make sure that happens. But when you say when the comments were coming in, we were all on board, it's not entirely accurate. There's been some cajoling. And look, I hope that there's no battle brewing, and there shouldn't be. And it'd be a sin to have there be a battle brewing because, look, at the end of the day, we're trying to make a city work, not our egos, not our personalities. And this is all for the benefit of the future of our city. I'd love to send my kids to the zoo every day. But, eventually, we're going to need some family entertainment here. And by putting this thing in this exact spot, because if you put it in the harbor would be great for an anchor apartment complex.
Yeah.
That was, medium income. Because, look, no doctor and lawyer is going to spend $1,200 or whatever they're saying the price range is to live next to a train track. They're just not.
Right. All right. This is done, though, right? This is basically a done deal now.
It's done on the council end, and as anything goes, once something is approved, I have no problem getting on board and making it work because that's the hand I'm dealt. And I'm sure everyone would be in the same capacity. It's just unfortunate that, year after year we're presented with headlines, but on the backs of the taxpayer, when they don't see what could have been, I think that's unfair. And I think that, when you have leaders like Anthony and Tony and Joe Griffo, and you have people that are, spewing vision all over the place, and, Tony's taken a lot of lumps for being patient on things like Griffiths. He's patient on it, and people think it's never going to come back. Next thing you know, he's fighting with congressmen to get DFAS to expand. He's fighting to get New Air done the right way. Those things are, they take time.
Who was it?
This would take time.
Who was not on board with the comments coming in?
Yeah, they were. Look, I ask around, and then
I am. I'm asking you.
Do what you guys do best and investigate, what has happened through this city. We cannot keep on continuing to just allow, endless battles just to make the right thing happen. It's very important that everyone get on board. Look, everyone's on board right now with the comments. Everyone understands it. But, there were certain people, and I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but there were certain people that said, we have the Utica Pioneers. Why do we need an AHL team here?
Okay, I see where you're going. All right, I remember that. Andrew, last question for Joe Marino.
Now, Joe, in regards to Purcell, has anything been further looked into about the feasibility of these apartment complexes getting approved? Is it something that can logistically go there?
Andrew, I don't know. No. The answer to that is no. We've gotten a drawing from the harbor that throws a walking bridge from that land where Purcell wants to go into the harbor. There is no real final plans. The only difference between what the Art Authority, quote unquote, did at URA and Purcell was provide an artistic rendering, not even an architectural drawing. So, unless someone's looking for a picture that could work, outside of that, they were the same. Now, again, Purcell is a terrific company, and they could work in this city. Just right there would landlock the odd for growth, and that would hinder our city for family entertainment. And I really implore people to just look into these things. And I'll tell you something else. I say that people may not understand. They really do. I've not gotten one person that has told me I am excited about an apartment complex going back down in Whitesboro Street. So I give the city of Utica a lot of credit in that regard.
Okay. Anybody else?
Just quickly, I understand what you're saying, Joe, but that literally brings people downtown. With the lofts bring people downtown. Whatever housing, maybe the lofts are out of the price range of some, myself included.
But
maybe
it doesn't necessarily bring people downtown to spend money, right?
Well, if you're getting takeout,
Jeff, I understand the argument that if you build houses, people will live in them. But I asked for a market study to say is that accurate? Because look, when HUD when we had to tear down the Washington Courts apartments, HUD told us you are segregating a population next to a train track in an industrial area. You're not even allowed to do that. Why? I don't know that people will want to live down there. I get Bag Square is amazing, and it's rejuvenating the entire city. It's one of the starting points of our original city, and it's a starting point now. But I asked for a market study to say, can you fill these apartments? The answer I got was, well, we're getting a hospital and we're getting Nano. I get that. I understand the energy here. But, I'm looking for an actual market study.
Right.
And to really see that we could fill these things so they don't turn into subsidized housing in the future, and they are, kept up. We asked for security measures. Will you have security on staff? We got no answers. So when I voted no, it wasn't to be against development. It was to be for the vision of an entertainment district. That's it.
Listen, I want to leave with one comment that somebody just made. Of course, they don't want to look on the air, but here it is. From an outsider looking in, typical Utica, fighting amongst themselves, can't get anything done, which is why all this progress should be happening in the city of Rome. Interesting comment, Joe, just got to say.
Yeah, I get that. Listen, let me tell you something, Bill, and I understand the branding and marketing, and I'll even understand when when I leave this interview, how it's going to be looked down upon me. The fact remains is, and it's just Joe Marino being Joe Marino, fighting with the administration again. The fact is, these are facts. I ask anyone else that you can imagine that's elected, and then tell me I'm wrong. I'm offering you an alternative idea. The fact is, we're not fighting against each other. We're fighting against time, and if we don't take it, and if we don't utilize this time right now, we're going to blow it. So if Rome wants Purcell, please, by all means, take them.
No, I think I think they want the entertainment and sports complex, and maybe the comments too. Comments as well.
I want Purcell and I want entertainment. The fact is, it's been marketed and branded, and that's something this administration does really well. They hammer points home, and they really market and brand well. And it's scare tactics. We've lost so much in this city over the last few decades that I get it when people say, look, we need the first thing that comes because we are going to lose it. But I have more confidence in our city than that, and some other people do too. We have an opportunity here where we can say we're not losing textile. We're not getting Nano yanked back and forth from us. We actually have that money back for the hospital. Let's embrace it. So, let's just take some time and do the right thing for tomorrow, not just for a headline today. I don't want to lose these
Well,
things.
I will say that if you look at what happened out of the base, they had a vision, and they stuck by it. They turned people down because they had a vision for that base, and look at it today. I mean, it is the success. It's the vision that they really they planned and they looked for. So
and those guys took a beating, Bill. Steve Domino took a beating over Nano. He took a beating over Griffiths with Tony Pacini. Anthony Brindisi took a beating over that hospital concept, from certain people. But he stuck with it, and he's going to see it through. And those things, they do take time. But, when we just go for a headline, we're really hurting the people that live here, especially like me. Just as a dad, I'm not as smart as these guys. Tony Pacini and Brindisi and Griffo, those guys know what they're doing. They're real-life, 24-hour guys. I'm just a dad that wants to have entertainment and tourism in this city. That's it.
Two comments. Christine?
Jolene Cleaver from the Utica OD retweeted something that Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul said at the groundbreaking which was, Utica, this is your moment in the sun.
Yeah. So the idea would be to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else said to me yesterday, and it said to me many times, I think he's telling me this as well, and probably wise to do so. But the comment is that what really determines a person's success is not when they are struggling. It's how they act when they are on top, how they act when they've reached the point where they want to be. That really defines the person, and it could be determined. That could be associated with the community as well. That's how we define this community. When we're growing, how do we react? When things are beginning to turn around, how do we act? And that is everything. It's not what you do when you're down. It's what you do when you're up. Interesting.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, got to go. Thanks, Joe Marino. I appreciate it.
Guys, thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
Okay. Listen, Mohawk Honda, #1 in the Capital Region, #1 in Central New York and Upstate New York. Nick Bonarigo is the general manager there and loves it when people from here purchase vehicles down there. You get special family treatment. Each and every person that purchases a vehicle, new or used, you get treated like family. It's Mohawk Honda. Exit, it's Route 50, just off the thruway in Glenville. Or you can shop online 24/7 at MohawkHonda.com.